Welcome back to A Horror. I'm so
Oh.
glad you're here for another deep dive into the dark and mysterious.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we're tackling one of those cases that just grabs you and never lets go.
Oh, yeah.
D.B. Cooper.
It's the ultimate cold case.
It is.
I mean, who hijacks a plane,
right.
gets a ransom,
Yeah.
then jumps out mid-flight and just vanishes?
I know.
It's like something out of a movie.
Totally.
But this was all too real.
Exactly. And the fact that we still don't know for sure what happened to him, whether
Yeah.
he survived or not, is just mind-blowing.
It's crazy.
So for anyone who needs a quick refresher, let's set the stage.
Okay.
November 24th, 1971.
All right.
A man calling himself D.B. Cooper boards a Boeing 727 in Portland,
Okay.
heading to Seattle.
Yeah.
Seems like an average guy.
Uh-huh.
Until...
Until he passes a note to a flight attendant.
Oh!
Now, back then,
Yeah.
people still slipped stewardess as their numbers.
Right.
So she thought that's what it was. But this note said something very different. I have a bomb.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine
Wild.
the sheer terror she must have felt?
I know, and Cooper wasn't messing around. He even
Uh-uh.
showed her something that looked very much like a bomb in his briefcase
Wow.
to make his point.
He was serious.
Yeah, he had a plan.
Okay.
And it was bold. $200,000 in cash,
Wow.
4 parachutes,
Okay.
and a fuel truck waiting in Seattle.
And the authorities actually went along with it.
They had to think about the lives at stake.
Right.
The passengers and some crew were allowed off in Seattle.
Okay.
The ransom was delivered.
Wow.
And Cooper laid out his next move.
Okay.
He wanted to fly to Mexico City at a low altitude
Uh-huh.
and slow speed.
Wow.
This detail, to me, is one of the most telling.
Okay, I'm hooked already.
Yeah.
Why is that specific flight plan so important?
It shows he had some knowledge of aviation.
Okay.
Flying low and slow was likely a way to avoid radar detection
It just...
as much as possible. He wasn't just some random guy who decided to hijack a plane on a whim.
Yeah.
This was calculated.
Wow, and this is where the story takes an even wilder turn, right?
Totally.
Because he doesn't make it to Mexico.
Not even close.
Wow.
Somewhere over southwestern Washington,
Okay.
a warning light goes off in the cockpit.
Uh-huh.
The aft stairs, the ones at the back of the plane, had been deployed.
Oh, wow.
Couple that with a sudden change in air pressure,
Okay,
and the
yeah.
crew knew. D.B. Cooper had jumped.
Into a raging storm, no less.
Yeah,
And get this, the military jets who were tailing the plane,
right.
they didn't see him jump either.
It's almost like he disappeared into thin air.
I know.
All they found were a few clues,
Yeah.
a black tie, and 2 of the parachutes.
Wow.
But no Cooper.
Wow. And that's when the real mystery begins.
Oh, that's right.
Before we get into that, I just want to remind everyone listening, if you're enjoying this deep dive, hit that like button and subscribe to A-Horror for more fascinating cases just like this.
Yeah, good idea.
Okay, so Cooper is gone. Vanished.
Mm-hmm.
What happens next?
Right.
Does the massive search effort turn up anything?
They scoured the Lewis River area where they believe he landed, but it was like searching for a needle in a haystack.
Wow.
Dense forest darkness, the storm.
Oh my God, yes.
It was a nightmare scenario.
Wow.
And then, years later, there's a twist no one saw coming.
This is where it gets really juicy, right?
You bet.
Tell me you're about to talk about the money.
You know, in 1980, a young boy playing on a beach along the Columbia River
Okay.
finds 3 packets of the ransom money.
What?
Decomposed,
Wow.
but confirmed by the serial numbers.
Well, hold on. This is 9 years later?
I know.
Miles away from the supposed jump site?
Crazy, right?
What are the chances?
Exactly.
That's incredible.
That discovery blew the case wide open again.
Wow.
Did the money fall out during the jump?
All right.
Did it wash downriver from where Cooper landed, or
Yeah.
did someone else plant it there?
That's a good question.
It's enough to make your head spin.
And I bet that's where all those wild theories about Cooper's fate come into play, right?
You know it, and trust me.
Yeah.
Some of these theories are more out there than others,
I bet.
but that's what we're going to unpack next.
This is already so captivating.
Yeah.
I can't wait to dive into those theories with you after a quick word from our sponsors.
Sounds good.
Don't go anywhere.
All right, so we've got this incredible mystery, the daring jump,
Right.
the vanished hijacker,
Yeah.
the money reappearing years later.
Uh-huh.
Now we have to ask, did D.B. Cooper survive that jump?
Right. Because finding that cash throws everything into question.
It does.
If he died on impact,
Right.
how did those bills end up so far away?
Yeah.
Unless someone else was involved.
That's a popular theory. Maybe Cooper had an accomplice on the ground
Oh,
who collected some of the loot later?
interesting.
But even if he survived the landing, it had to be brutal.
I bet.
That terrain is unforgiving,
Yeah.
especially at night in a storm. The FBI at the time said he had to be either an experienced jumper or crazy to even try it.
Wow, which begs the question, who was D.B. Cooper?
Right.
Was he a skilled skydiver, ex-military maybe, or just some desperate gambler
Right.
taking a wild chance?
Uh-huh.
The FBI looked into thousands of suspects, right?
Over 1,000 leads.
Wow.
Some were clearly bogus,
Yeah.
attention seekers trying to grab their 15 minutes of fame.
Oh, I bet.
But there were a few that really stood out.
Okay.
One guy, Richard McCoy,
Huh.
pulled off a very similar hijacking just a few months after Cooper.
Okay.
Same demands.
Okay.
Parachutes ransom, a low-altitude flight.
Yeah.
He even jumped out over Utah and got away with it for a while.
Hang on. This McCoy guy did almost the exact same thing, and they caught him.
They sure did.
Huh.
Left his fingerprints on a magazine in the plane.
Oh, no.
Rookie mistake, ended up in jail.
Wow.
Escaped, then was killed in a shootout with the cops.
Wow.
Talk about a wild ride.
That's crazy. So, case closed.
Oh.
McCoy was Cooper all along.
Not so fast. There were differences.
Maybe.
McCoy was younger.
Yeah.
His appearance didn't quite match the descriptions,
Ah.
and his motive was a bit clearer. Seemed like he was mainly after the thrill of the crime.
Well,
Cooper, on the other hand, felt more enigmatic.
yeah.
We still don't know for sure what drove him.
So, McCoy is out. Who else did the FBI seriously consider?
There was John List, a family annihilator,
Oh, gosh.
who went on the run right around the same time as the hijacking.
Wow.
Some thought he might have needed money to stay hidden,
Oh, interesting.
but he denied it,
Okay.
and the timeline didn't quite line up.
Right.
Then you have all sorts of theories based on circumstantial evidence.
Oh, like what?
A woman claiming to be Cooper's ex-lover,
Okay.
a paratrooper with a similar build,
Right.
even a guy who claimed his brother confessed on his deathbed.
Oh, wow. It's amazing how this case, even after the FBI officially closed it in 2016, still sparks so much speculation.
It's the ultimate unsolved puzzle.
It is.
And I think part of the fascination is that there's a little bit of D.B. Cooper in all of us.
Oh, yeah.
That desire to buck the system, disappear, start over.
Totally.
It's a powerful fantasy.
You know, you're right.
Yeah.
We all have moments where we want to just chuck it all and walk away,
Mm-hmm.
but most of us don't hijack a plane to do it.
Right. Speaking of which, it's crazy to think about how this one event back in 1971
Yeah.
changed air travel forever.
Oh, absolutely. Before Cooper security was lax.
Right.
Now we've got TSA body scanners the whole 9 yards.
I know.
It's a direct result of what he did.
Right.
It's like his legacy in a twisted way.
It makes you wonder if he did survive. Did he ever imagine how his actions would impact the world?
Yeah.
It's a bit sobering, actually.
It is, but beyond the security changes,
Yeah.
the D.B. Cooper case did something else.
What's that?
It ignited a passion for true crime that hasn't faded.
Before we get too deep into that, I want to remind everyone to hit that subscribe button if you're loving this dig dive.
We've got more A-horror episodes coming your way with even more fascinating cases.
That's right.
Now back to what you were saying about true crime.
Think about it.
Okay.
Cooper's story, along with cases like Zodiac or Jack the Ripper,
Yeah.
they tap into something primal in us.
Oh,
We want answers.
of course.
We want to understand the darkness.
Right.
And these unsolved mysteries force us to confront the fact that sometimes we just don't know.
It's almost like he gave us a puzzle we can't put down,
It is.
even after all these years.
Right, exactly. And the fact that Cooper was never caught,
Right.
never identified definitively,
Yeah.
it adds to the myth he's a blank slate, a phantom.
Totally.
We fill in the gaps with our own theories and interpretations.
Which is probably why there are so many books,
Right.
documentaries, even a craft beer named after him.
I know.
It's like he's become a folk hero for a cautionary tale for others.
And that's what makes this case so fascinating, right?
Yeah.
There are no easy answers. It's a story that keeps evolving, that we keep rewriting in our minds.
This has been incredible. I
Mhm.
feel like we've covered so much ground,
Yeah.
but I know there's still more to unpack.
Uh-huh.
What other aspects of the D.B. Cooper saga should we explore? It's interesting, as we've been talking about Cooper and this enduring mystery, it struck me that this case is about more than just a daring heist.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost a reflection of our own desires, isn't it?
It's true. There's a romanticism to the story.
Right.
This guy, seemingly ordinary,
Yeah.
pulls off this incredible stunt and disappears.
I know.
It's like he stepped out of reality and into a legend.
And it's not just about the money. right?
Right.
It's about the freedom he represents, the ability to walk away from everything, reinvent yourself, become someone new.
Absolutely. And for a lot of people, that's incredibly appealing,
Yeah.
especially in today's world where we're constantly connected,
Right.
tracked,
Yeah.
defined by our online personas.
Totally.
Cooper represents a complete break from all that.
He's a phantom, a ghost in the machine. And that's probably why this case still resonates with so many.
Mm-hmm.
We project our own hopes and anxieties onto him.
Yeah.
He becomes a blank canvas for our imaginations.
And think about the timing. 1971,
Yeah.
Vietnam War,
Right?
Watergate,
Uh-huh.
a growing distrust of authority.
Yeah.
Cooper, in a way, became this anti-establishment figure, someone who thumbed his nose at the system and got away with it.
He's the ultimate outlaw, the modern-day Robin Hood, except, of course, we don't know if he was actually robbing from the rich to give to the poor,
Right.
or if he even survived.
That's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah.
The ambiguity. Did he live a life of luxury on some tropical island, or did he meet a grim end in the wilderness?
Right.
We may never know, and that's what keeps us coming back to this story.
It's like a campfire story.
Total.
Passed down through generations, getting more elaborate and fantastical with each retelling.
And everyone has their own version, their own theory about what really happened, which honestly I think is a testament to the power of this case.
I agree.
It forces us to engage,
Yeah.
to think critically,
Uh-huh.
to question what we believe.
And even though the FBI officially closed the case,
Yeah.
it feels like it's never truly over, does it?
Not really. Every now and then a new piece of evidence pops up,
Right.
or someone claims to have cracked the code and the cycle starts all over again.
Yeah.
We're drawn back into the mystery,
Yeah.
trying to piece together the puzzle.
It's like a collective obsession.
It is.
We all want to be the ones to finally solve it,
Right.
to unmask D.B. Cooper and reveal his secrets.
But maybe that's missing the point.
Okay.
Maybe the real lesson here is that some mysteries are meant to stay unsolved.
Oh,
That
yeah.
sometimes the not knowing is more powerful than any answer we could find.
You're right. The unknown keeps us curious, keeps us searching, keeps us engaged with the world in a way that certainty never could.
Exact.
Well said. This deep dive has been incredible. I feel like we've barely scratched the surface of this captivating case, but it's time to wrap up.
Okay.
Any final thoughts for our listeners?
If this case has sparked your interest, I encourage you to do your own research. Dive into the theories, examine the evidence, and come to your own conclusions. You might just find yourself as obsessed with D.B. Cooper as we are.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of true crime, be sure to like and subscribe to AIHORROR for more chilling tales and eerie horror stories. We'll be back soon with another captivating case that's sure to keep you on the edge of your seat. Until then, sweet dreams and keep an eye on the skies.